And good day, good day. My name is Howard Martell. We're going to be doing a little podcast here about tax emotions, moderate politics, biblically and critically in 2026. So basically, I've also put in the description the video if you wanted to watch it. Taxes, emotions, and moderate politics. In our first segment, the goal is to frame an issue without just repeating partisan talking points. Today, I want to walk you through a recent video that's gone around about the Virginia governor, Abigail Spanberger, or Spanky as I call it. New tax increases, and in this idea that voters were tricked by so called moderate Democrats. No, you've been shaboozled. I'm sorry, you've been shaboozled. The writing was on the wall. She voted against the Lincoln Riley Act. Come on, people. Got to do your research. It's on there. I'm not here to tell you who to vote for. I'm here to break down the video is claiming. Let's look at all these new taxes. Ask how the new taxes really impact your daily life, my daily life too. But it being as a veteran, I did get certain benefits, not to boast, but I did serve the country. And I saw this coming. And talk about emotional voting and informed voting. See, you got to do things called deductive reasoning. You've got to look at the issues. You've got to look at it as if you are a believer in Christ, a true believer and true follower of Yeshua. You got to understand, hey, does this pass the sniff test or does this not make sense? I might not like a certain party, but man, I don't know if I could go that way. I'm just saying. It's like the Matrix. Neo, you're going to take the red pill, you're going to take the blue pill. We call that the uniparty, unfortunately. Doesn't matter which party you're from. If you're a true American, you need to vote with your wallet, not with your emotions. Then let's basically the show will recap. It's incredible because even a local, not a local station here, but a local station up in Richmond or Upper Virginia was talking about it. They had to pause. There's so many taxes. There's over 50 plus new taxes that will affect the 757 and the entire Commonwealth of Virginia. You voted for this. So guess what? God gave you what you wanted. You wanted your king. You wanted your queen. You got it. Why do we need all these taxes in the first place? Why? Oh, they want to give pay raises to state workers. State workers. Nothing against state workers, but what about returning that money to the coffers to better the roads and to do better things with the transportation? Lower the cost of Hampton Roads living? No way, Jose. Not going to happen. Not with their policies that they are trying to push down your throat. And guess what's going to happen? These businesses that promised, I hope they still stay here, but they're going to rethink, do I want to be part of this new evolution of craziness? Or do I want to go to places like Texas and further down south that will openly take you and give you those same benefits? Virginia, you need to think about that. Campaign promise. We'll make life more affordable, more versus reality. Taxes on almost everything. Blue pill analogy. People voting from emotion, fear after Trump, not from policy. I don't care if you hate the man or not. He was placed there by God. Whether you like it or not, too bad, too sad. I don't care. I'm not fazed by you. I've dealt with all kinds of people in my life, but I'm going to show you respect and love. But when you disrespect the country and you keep on voting the same idiots in office, this is what happens. This is what happens. The implosion. You don't know how to prepare yourself. The military mindset prepares us very well. They don't like us. Why? Because we're clear thinkers after we leave service. Why? Because we were prepared. Attention to detail. One of them. Two, think outside the box. Entrepreneurship, capitalism, the will to succeed, teamwork, love of country, love of fellow citizen, no matter what. I don't care if you're liberal, a lunatic, or you believe the moon has cheese on it. I don't care. I raised my hand and said, I will defend and support the Constitution. And to this is a spit in the face of every single veteran that decided to retire out of here in Virginia. It's a spit in our face. Why? Because you said one thing, but then you did another, right? But if you look at it, it it You look at it, this is straight out of a book called The Communist Manifesto. Robert Kiyosaki had told me about that book, right? I read it. It's really interesting that you take away the family, you take away God, and you create your own mini gods when it comes to politicians. And then if you're not wise about what is in scripture and follow the word instead of following the world, I talked about that yesterday. So here's a claim. There's no moderate Democrats anymore. Communist Manifesto is a rhetoric, right? Talks about in the video. So let's walk through some key questions together like an inductive study. So what's happening? What does it mean? And what does it say about how we vote? Understand there's always changes here in the Commonwealth or any state, but you, the voters, have to start locally. Locally is crucial because you see what's going on with your kids. If they're in a great school, kudos. But if they're not, they're falling behind. That's why there's a massive amount of people, especially believers in Christ, that are homeschooling their kids. You're getting a better education. Yes, you're being protective of your kids so you can teach them what needs to be taught to prepare them for life, living in the lost world, but following biblical principles. So, how do the new taxes impact life? Let's lay out some examples from the video briefly. Extra local sales tax, like we need that. Property tax more, really? Really? Delivery tax for Amazon, Uber Eats, UPS, and FedEx? Where's this money going to go to? That's what I want to know. Break down the budget to me, Spanky. But break it down, Democrats. Break it down for me. Just saying. I call them Democrats and Rhino Demons because they're both a uniparty. They're a broken system. And at the end of the day, the voters still have the power. And understand that. There are consequences for all these actions if this goes through the legislator. They try to ram it through. Gun and ammo tax. People, you have the right to bear arms if you are safely doing it and properly doing it. Okay? So what I'm saying, just look. Gym memberships, dog walking, dog grooming, counseling taxes, really? That money's not going to Hampton Roads, is it? You see how our roads are, right? They're doing all this construction and all this stuff, but our roads still have potholes in them. Everywhere you go, potholes. It's getting to the point that when I travel up north, and if I go to Rhode Island, pothole central, it's worse than Rhode Island at times. That's pretty bad, people, because that's up in Yankee country. Now, event, concerts, hotel, storage taxes. Really? Digital property tax? What is a digital property tax? What the heck is that? You pay digitally, you're going to get taxed on it? Really? Luckily for veterans like myself, that benefit I don't have to worry about. Higher income brackets, investment tax, energy rate hikes. This one here is going to crush the middle class. On the video, there was this young lady, I think looks like she was in the Coast Guard, saying her bill went from a few $100s to damn $600. Where are there's no accountability with these electric companies? Why am I paying for these data AI centers when the data AI centers are making buku bucks and getting tax savings? Let them pay for the bill. Why should we, the taxpayers, pay for your energy costs? Why? Electric bills jumping from 200, 300, 600. So if your electric bill tripled and that there were new taxes on things you already use, delivery, repairs, counseling, even dog grooming, how would that change your life day to day? Would you have to cut back on giving savings or basic needs? Yes, you would. Now let's connect this to financial education. Quickly, I'm going to explain the small percentage changes stack up. At a 1 to 2% tax here and another 3% there, plus higher energy rates, all of that compounds like reverse interest working against you. Bring in your rule of 72 and inflation thinking. Just like money can grow, your cost of living can compound upward if you're not paying attention. Key takeaways. New taxes are not just headlines. They become less margin, less savings, more stress for working families and small businesses, and more health problems. I'm telling you. Question 2. Why do emotions dictate policy choices? We're going to bring in this blue pill analogy, right? We talked about the Matrix if you've watched the Matrix. After the current administration won, people feel relief voting blue. Don't understand why. I'm sorry, but you've been shaboozled. You've been lied to. If you follow the mainstream media, you definitely been lied to. I'm just telling you. And you can agree or disagree with me. I don't care at the end of the day. I'm a patriot. I know what's going on, but we do this in a peaceful way. They're told to be afraid of Trumps and Republicans. Really? No, you need to be afraid of the government, period. Republicans, Democrats. Democrats, demons. They might came in office to do good things, but don't have your back. Either party. There should be a patriot party, a party that's independent from it. But the problem is they got too greedy. Sin entered their heart. They take God away from it, even though this current administration has shown that they're more in tuned with the spirit. Certain individuals, just to say that. They fall in love with the idea of the blue pill and vote Democrat in the midterms, and more than emotion, than careful policy reading. You didn't look at the issues in Virginia. This is what happens. It affects myself, it affects you. So, why am I talking about this? Because it needs to be talked about. Every time that we go to a men's breakfast, I see at the Golden Corral there off of Independence, they have the Republican Party. So if you're listening to this, listen well. You need to go out full force. You need to do the same things come these midterms and get the right people elected. Conservatives, people who believe in choice for the consumer, small business, and reduce the taxes. Okay. They've got complete control, Virginia, because you've been shaboozled and you voted for this. So that's your consequences. You took the unrighteous path. The righteous path was to elect Winsome Sears, but unfortunately, Winsome Sears didn't have enough backing, to be honest with you. The Republican Party, you guys did not back her, and you were wrong. I would love to have seen Winsome. She's a patriot, a former Marine, veteran like myself. She loved country, she loved God, and she wanted to make Virginia. And she would be one of the first Black governors in the state of Virginia, if I recall right. That would be a thing of beauty because I don't see race. I just see pigments of skin. I see a godly woman who was doing the best she could, but she didn't have the backing. That's the key. So where does fear show up here in your political choices? In the news you watch or your bills that actually get passed? When you connect it to the records versus rhetoric, the video claims warning were given on X and Twitter that Spanberger was not truly a moderate. All over there, but you've been saboozled because you follow CNN, Cartoon News Network, or Fox Network instead of following truly independent media. I look at media all across the world and I do a comparison. I just get enough to educate me and prepare me. Financially educated myself, I'll be honest with you. When I invested in silver 5 years ago, and it has been blessed by God by multiplying at a 200, almost a 200% clip in a year and some change. Smart investment, stewardship investing. People ignore these warnings and listen to branding instead. This is why, as a financial education believer, I tell people check the record, not just the rhetoric. Here's a bridge to bridge principle, and I'm not preaching. Proverb style idea. The prudent man foresees evil and hides himself, but the simple pass on and are punished. Application. Wise voters look ahead at what candidates have actually supported, not just what they say the week before the election. Politics are dirty. What are the long term voters' implications? Using no moderate Democrats, communist manifesto, rhetoric carefully, focusing on pattern, not name calling. See, what's being exposed right now across the world, across the United States, is the evilness of how they've been doing it for decades. They cheat. I'm not saying both parties don't cheat, but what I'm saying is the Democrats are being exposed. Georgia, wake up. Fulton County, you're on call now. You're under the radar. This is not revenge. This is the truth. They've had the goods on you, and now they're dropping the hammer. And this is what I voted for. I voted for people over profits. These big corporations taking us to the woodshed. These Dominion Energy and all their lobbyists lobbying, and getting these clowns in our Congress elected. We got clowns, literally. It's a clown show. Why should they get better benefits than veterans? or better if they do 3 years. Really? Why are they becoming richer? Virginia, wake up. Do you want to become the new Minnesota? I don't, because I'll tell you one thing. There's too many veterans who will say, you're not coming to my house to do that stuff. It ain't happening, baby. Not at this time. So we got 4 years of this. So let's see if she's truly moderate. Maybe these won't get passed, but I have a true hunch that her little minions, her little demons, are gonna post this. So Republicans, you better wake up. If you want to take back territory in Virginia, it starts with getting out there grassroots. You need to get out there and force. You need to use social media. You need to use the power of what the brand was about. This is not about mega. It's not about make America great. It's about making Virginia affordable again. It was affordable before under the prior administration, brought jobs in, got a surplus. Why do we need more taxes? After the election, why do we need 50 plus new taxes? And don't tell me it's because transportation. BS. I wasn't born yesterday. Yes, I'm a college educated man. So, but I'm not educated in the world. I'm educated with what God has been revealing. Call me crazy, call me conspiracy theorist, but people, you're seeing it already in your bills, and you cannot deny when you physically see it in your budgets. These people are stealing from you. I call that we need to have as many petitions to have her resign, to resign. That can be done. Talk to your local representatives, blow their phones up, make sure they realize how mad you are of their decisions, and make sure they don't pass any of these bills. Because when they do, these policy shifts, no ICE cooperation, really. You got to understand that the media is transforming this into a bad thing, and they're taking your kids, these these NGOs all over. It was in Fremont, Nebraska. It was in Milwaukee. These kids are not passing their tests. They're brain dead. They've been indoctrinated. That's why the public school system is failing the youth. The education system, free education for undocumented immigrants. Really? But you're not going to take care of Virginians that are paying taxes? See, that's why she needs to be rescinded. She needs to be held accountable. And at the end of the day, it's up to you, Republicans. It's up to you, Democrats, to work together to make Virginia better. And if you don't, the consequences are the following: strict gun controls, election changes. They're trying to change elections. I do not want to have to vote through the mail. If I'm able to go there physically, I want to make sure that my vote counts. There's too many people that can be manipulated through that system. Why? Because they don't know cybersecurity. I know cybersecurity. Done it. There's flaws in these systems. But people, you got to understand this is bigger than me and you. This is for your kids and the next generation. Do you want a Virginia that is free, that you can choose the choice of where you want to educate, have your kids educated, where you want to worship at, or vice versa? Or do you want to have the government tell you what to do? Just saying. Just saying. We know we live in an era of moderate Democrats. Call it the Communist Manifesto. Whether you agree or not with the label, the pattern is what matters. Campaigns as moderate, govern as far left on taxes and control. They did the same thing in New York with Mama Donnie. New York, you're definitely gone. This is not the New York that I would want to visit. It's got so much history. If you keep voting based on fear, vibes, or party brand alone, don't be surprised when policies you get are much more extreme than campaign ads. What would it look like if we read actual bills and tax proposals, look at past votes from candidates, and make decisions based on policy and principle, not personality and panic? How many elections would have gone different if people had paused and asked, what are the real financial consequences for my state and my family and my business? My role after 30 years in uniform in cybersecurity is helping people understand how policy shows up in your wallet, prepare their finances so they're not at the mercy of every new tax. Before the next election, pick one candidate and look up their voting record. Look at what they're backed on taxes and spending. Compare that to their current promises. That one step alone can save you years of surprise and the blue pill regret. So, this is crazy. I know it's crazy. Hi, St. Louis garbage. Are you a garbage man? Or are you a person who has their bills being increased too? Well, I hope this is wide open. Virginia, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. There is a reckoning coming. And I'm going to share that video out with you. So just bear with me. I'm not going to show it. I'm going to give you the link. It's going to show up on the screen right now. Take care. God bless. Stay safe. And know who you are voting for when it comes to these policies. I'm telling you, it's getting real, Virginia. It is getting real. And you need to know where your money's going.